Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 25th day. Happy Friday, everybody. Very good World Series coming on here in about 10 minutes or so. First pitch between the Yankees-Dodgers, historical World Series. First one with 5 former MVPs here out in L.A. Going to be starting here shortly. Mad New Yorker hasn't showed up yet, but I haven't got any reason. Well, oh, never mind. There he is. I see him backstage. I'm going to recap last week's games and go over this week's biggest games, including the World Series, folks. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break. We'll be back here shortly. We'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
All righty then. Hey, Carlos, how you doing, man?
Yo. Happy Friday.
Friday at last. Hey, real quick, we're about to get to the first pitch. I want to get your thoughts and prediction on what do you think is going to happen in this historical World Series, man. You know, five MVPs
tonight.
Here. Yeah.
That's tonight. So, yeah.
Yay.
I don't know what to expect. Both teams kind of match up equally and evenly. The Dodgers are very deep in the pitching staff. They're deep with the regular players. They got a lot of young players. The Yankees kind of the same way, except for, they got a lot of heavy hitters. They got guys that can change the game, but they need to be careful with their pitching. That's been always a question. They got about 3 or 4 guys that can help the team win, but it's the other guys that need to fall in place. So we're gonna see. I'm hoping that New York wins the World Series, but I'm thinking maybe the Dodgers might win this one. They got a little bit of an edge.
How many games the Dodgers may win?
I'm thinking, and I'm only saying this, and I even being a New York fan, I'm saying this. I think the Dodgers have an edge because they played stronger competition to get to the World Series, and I say that because. Not because they played the Mets last, but also they played the Padres, and the Padres had a
Padres are tough. Yeah,
they had a deeper team than the Dodgers, and the Dodgers were coming back. We're having players coming back from a few injuries, so And even when they finish out the year, with a little bit of a bumpy schedule that they were able to do and complete with the team that they had. So their team is a little bit tougher. They have a little bit of a competitive edge over the Yankees. The Yankees, I mean, I can't sit here. Cleveland made it to the playoffs, but I can't sit here and say that Cleveland was a tougher team to beat at that same time that the Dodgers were beating on the Mets.
That's true.
I
think so too.
So and the Mets ended up the year, believe it or not, the best baseball team at least in the NL East with the way their schedule was going.
The record.
The record. So I hate to say this, but I think the Dodgers win in 6. But I want the Yankees.
I said too. Yeah.
But I want the Yankees to win. I really hope that they can smack.
I mean, maybe if Garrett Cole can, have a.
Well, I mean, you're gonna
John
pitch Garrett Cole 3 games in a row.
Type of,
Yeah, that's the problem. One of the things that I've been uneasy about is the consistency of Rendon.
Yeah.
It looks like he's starting to get better, but see, the Mets had a player, Manaea, who had one of the best records in the NL East. However, he didn't pitch. He hadn't pitched more than 60 innings ever. Yeah. And this was his first time going over 60 innings. And now I see the same thing with Rendon. Yeah, he's pitching better, but in the last 4 years, he hadn't pitched more than so many innings. So I feel like that could be something that could be a factor. I can't sit here like a fanboy in New York and be like, yeah, we're gonna win no matter what. I don't care what everybody says. I can't do that. I have to literally.
It seems like they've got a deeper bullpen. The Dodgers do.
Yeah, and they've been playing hurt, so they've been playing coming back and getting at these teams after injury after injury. So and you need a little bit of that grit when you go into now. I was talking to I was talking to a neighbor around the hood, and he was like, "Oh, but the World Series is a whole different game. It's a whole different animal." And I'm like, "It's true," and I hope that New York comes out with a competitive edge. But the fact that I have to say that is already negative towards the Yankees. Yeah. So that's
like you said. I've heard that from other people about the injuries with the Dodgers. I mean, that could favor the Yankees. I mean, maybe these guys do get banged up, and the Yankees pull this thing off.
Yeah, so the Yankees are set up to win by knocking the ball out of the park, right? And if you look at
Pickles now, Pickles says now Dodgers in 6. Pickles, I thought you said Dodgers in 7.
And look, I look at it like this: the Yankees in the playoffs, they're batting about around 250, 260. And the Dodgers are about, as a team, and the Dodgers are about the same as a team. Now, when you talk about individual, then you'll see the batting average spike up. But it certainly does carry some weight. That means that people are not hitting like they're supposed to be hitting. And so if the pitchers could take advantage of that on both sides, again, it's not going to be a short series at all. So
yeah. If it goes 7, maybe the Yankees win. I heard somebody talk about that.
If it goes 7, we'll talk about it. I think the Yankees could win if they go 7. But right now, the hottest name in baseball, the biggest name in baseball is Ohtani, right? So
yeah,
and it's always been MLB has always pushed a star player more than they should, and they had Bryce Harper a few years ago. Now they got Ohtani, so. This is a money-making machine, man. You can't be naive to that at all. I don't,
Hey, what is that celebration move that the Dodgers do? What does that mean? Yeah,
I don't know. I just every time I see
them, that's funny though.
You know what? When I see them do that, I just kind of get my head and I just reflect back to those dodgeball days, and I just want to throw something at them.
Well, it's kind of like raise the roof, but it's going sideways,
I don't know what they're
Part
doing.
of me thinks it's like if it's kind of on the line, like go fair.
And
but then again, maybe it's an earthquake. I don't know what that means. It's funny though.
Yeah, and I, you know,
They got a lot of swagger, man.
Let them do what they do, and you know, like the Mets had a ton of different things going on for them, and you know, I didn't say anything, so I you know, just pay a little bit of respect to the Dodgers. They did what they had to do. They're here, and if they want to celebrate and throw seeds and raise their arms, let them have fun. That's their way of doing things, and they should just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you're saying Dodgers. I say Dodgers in 6. Don't know a lot about it. Just going up. But let me ask you this. Don't you think what I was saying the other day, as far as the amount of star power, doesn't this kind of remind you of those old Red Sox, Yankees, the stars in both teams, man? In 03 and 04, right?
Right. So, and if we look at it in retrospect, like this was the first time in a while that the 4 teams that spent the most money were in the divisional playoffs, right?
I was wondering why it was got my attention. I never thought about that way.
Yeah. So it was the Yankees, the Dodgers. So I think the Dodgers spent the most money. The Yankees were second, and the Mets were third. And then and so like
the Guardians spent like 15 million or something. Yeah. Well, it was 3. You know.
Yeah, but what was the other ones were
the Guardians didn't do nothing. I mean,
but they had like the stat was like between those 3 teams combined and the amount they spent was like the average of like 5 baseball teams or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that are not like the small market teams, 5 small market teams. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to it. Just hope we have a good series. I don't really care one way or the other. Then again, it's always something in the back of my head likes to see the Yankees lose. I don't know what it is. I guess it's because they balled up the lead but the Dodgers have outspent them, you know.
Listen, I mean, you know, I want to see Judge hit over 200. I want to see Garrett Cole be that Cy Young winner pitcher, and I want Soto to do what Soto does, and you know, if they do those things, if they
has lived out his contract in this playoff, I'll say that.
If they keep doing what they're supposed to do and what they're getting paid for, this should be an exciting series, and we should see the Yankees prevail. But again, they're not going against a bunch of scrubs; they're going against, you know, a big payroll in the Dodgers. So
yeah, and it's weird. It's not starting off in Yankee Stadium; it's on the West Coast. It'll be daytime when we first start watching this game, since they're 2 hours behind. It's hard for me to fathom. Let's recap. By the way, you are tied now. You've won 2 games in a row, and you didn't even troll me. I was like, man, this dude is growing up, man.
I didn't know.
Congratulations on your 2 wins there, man.
Yeah, I wasn't aware if we were going to be working or not. So I was like, he ain't going to answer me, so I'm just going to let him be.
Yeah, I was working. I did work a little late Monday, but anyways, let's see. We talked about the Mets. What's your thoughts on Texas, Green Bay? Green Bay played well. They played well. We both picked Green Bay there. I tell you what, they're tough, man. They're a fast team. They could come at you from so many different angles, man. You know, you think you got one guy locked down, and they beat you with another guy. You know,
and it's good for them right now as they build up to, you know. But they need to start winning bigger. They need to get more confidence under the belt, and they're going to start playing more divisional games, and I think that's what's going to hurt them. That might bring them back to reality. So it's good for them to be positive and moving forward, because that coach, man, you already know him, former Titans, you know, coordinator. Like, you know,
never saw this as a coordinator though. He's really, I think, because they got a lot of young players who are buying in. Nobody thinks that they're above getting coached, and they've done a good job getting good character guys.
Yeah, and he got a good defense. So
they fixed their defense.
The issue I always had with him was that he couldn't keep a coordinator in house to give them stability, right? Every time he had every coaching staff every year on the defense, he was like, either they quit or they were moving on to another team. So, you know, or he fired the first coordinators he fired. The second ones, they moved on to another team, and then one quit on him. So, I can't say that he's not a good coach, but I am going to say that I'm not too keen about his coaching style. So,
Yeah. I mean, I've been a big critic of LaFleur too. I mean, he's come into his own lately. And by the way, he hired Robert Saleh as an assistant. I don't know if you heard about that this week. Speaking of Green Bay.
Yeah. Again, they have a good defense. Now they're going to get better. Saleh that's his thing, his defensive-minded coach. He's always proven that he was someone that could get that side of the ball moving in the right direction. So it's going to be interesting because, their counterpart is the Vikings, and their defense is, chugging along. What happened in this past game was the fact that they couldn't get in the end zone enough, but that defense kept them in the game. And so, look, everybody right now is talking about that division, that it's the best division. Just wait till they start playing each other, man. And then
that's true.
I
think it's right now it is. I don't know if it'll end that way, but right now I can see it. That's a good transition. Minnesota, Detroit, but also Minnesota lost last night. I called that loss. I thought that Rams would beat them. It feels like, I don't know about you, but what you're seeing of Sam Darnold, he's kind of coming down to earth, looking like the guy we know from the past, getting a lot of sacks. I know people talked about that non-face mask call going around the internet today in the Rams game, but the last couple of games he's been taking sacks.
Everybody thought that was not a safety. Everybody thought that was a face mask. I mean,
yeah. To me, it looked like he grabbed the end of his shoulder pads and slung him down. So
that would have been a horse collar either way.
Well, you could say it as a horse collar, but that's one play, man. They lost the game by 10.
I know, but that was the okay. So yeah, I don't think they lost the game because of that. That one play is not reviewable. So everybody needs to understand that from the get. If it were reviewable, it would have changed certainly. But the thing was, they were already spending too much time trying to score, and they didn't score, and they could have scored. They should have kicked a few field goals during that game. They I think they were trying to get the more points by trying to get in the end zone instead of playing what the Rams were giving them. And the Rams gave them a lot. The Rams gave them a lot of space. They opened up the game, throwing the ball around and not just to one wide receiver, but to like three of the wide receivers, and they ran the ball a little bit. And I was like, okay, this game's going to be rocking, right? And no, they didn't stay with that formula. And I don't know if it was the Rams making adjustments, or I just think that the Vikings were starting to get greedy, right? I think it was that more than the Rams making adjustments, because the Rams, they came back. They took them a while to get going. It took them a while to find space. So their defense kept them in the game as well. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think their secondary is a little aged. Minnesota. They have looked good, and a lot of that was Flores running these stunts at people and exotic blitzes. And I'm starting to get a sense, even though they beat the Jets, that teams are picking up on that, and they're picking up on both sides from Minnesota. And you saw that with Detroit, played a really good game. It was a tight game, but it was a really good game by the Lions there, picking up on that defense. Goff had a great game. They come off, we both picked Minnesota. I wish I would have picked Detroit. I'd have still had the lead tonight. But you could kind of see that. And the same thing, like I said earlier, with Darnold hanging on to the ball a little too long. He's getting a little greedy back there. Probably got to – I'm sure O'Connell, the head coach there, he's going to look back and say, we got to get back to the basics and start getting Aaron Jones and our running backs the ball and slow this thing. I think the other guy's Chandler, the other running back.
Yeah, they lost
you go ahead.
They lost the lineman as well. So
they lost their left tackle, so I think they may be on the way out. They flamed up.
Right. And everybody's like, well,
he's done for the season, I think. Darshaw or whatever. That's a big loss for them.
They were talking on because it was on Prime, right? And they're talking, and I'm like, that's a big deal. They got that one side, and you could see how uncomfortable Darnold was. every time he had the ball. Like,
yes,
and, so I feel like if they would just have run the ball 4 or 5 more times, then they would have had a little bit more confidence and they would have been able to throw the ball a little bit more.
They're going to be forced to run now. It's easier to run block than pass block.
Right. And it was so just, you saw the air kind of come out of them when they lost that player as well. You saw, I don't feel like they made adjustments. They just kept playing, hoping to make the same plays. And you can't do that. You do have to make adjustments. That's your lineman. You don't, and again, this is a quarterback who's had confidence issues since he's gotten drafted and has had terrible coaching. So
yeah,
and
he also is a little reckless too. He puts his body in harm's way. Now, their backup quarterback or their other quarterback, he's been hurt for the season. Of course, J.J. McCarthy, their rookie. I'm hoping Connell can coach it out of him. Don't run head first in the end zone every other play like he used to, because Darnold's hurt himself a lot. He's a bit of a knucklehead, man. He's got live legs, and he knows that he got a little bit more speed than a few linebackers out there. And he used to play linebacker in high school.
Yeah, so he
converted to quarterback.
He's not. I don't feel like he was a top 5 pick, but he is where he is, and I wish him the best, man. I just hope Minnesota gets back on top and. Because
a good coach can get around that left tackle being injured.
Yeah, you want to make that. You want to keep that division interesting because I don't want to see the Detroit Lions coming through again. To be honest with you,
well, I
think they had their chance. I think they had their chance, and that's it. There was one and done. So,
any thoughts about Jameis Williams, the Lions receiver, getting a PED 2-game suspension? Boy, is he a knucklehead.
Yeah, you was going to say, go talk about knuckleheads. What a move.
Charles Barkley impersonation. What knucklehead. 1 year after he got the gambling suspension.
This guy is he's on a roll and he's on his way out of Detroit City, man. I think you can't keep it's all right if you make a mistake and we give you an opportunity, but this is too and that you're just showing that you can't make good decisions, and it's tough to pay people top dollar if you can't make good decisions, right?
Yeah. Well, they still got him on a rookie contract, and I really do need to bring in Jeremy Ballrick back on the program, but I have to record it because our shows go at the same time. But the thing is, they probably need to add some insurance there up in Detroit at receiver. And of course, edge rusher there.
But
we do have a very good team, man. Huh?
People keep saying that. I just don't have no faith in Goff, man. In Goff, I do not trust. So, I feel like he's
playing at an MVP level, man.
He
3 incompletions the other night. 0 incompletions against Seattle a few weeks ago. A lot of that's playing off that offensive line and that Jahmyr Gibbs running game. But
who's having a better season right now, Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield?
Oh, Goff, easy.
Are you serious?
Baker Mayfield's got some hard times ahead. His 2 receivers are out.
I know Godwin's out.
Mayfield, he had a good run the other day. He's gotten in a little better shape than he was in the past, but I really like Goff a lot better. I know they beat Detroit this year, but they got way too pass happy, tried to force the ball to Jameis Williams. That particular game, I think that was the second game? Yeah, second game of the season. They should have beat Tampa. If they played Tampa again, they'd beat them, But anyways, let's move on from that game, Chief. What about Kansas City, San Francisco? Man, I thought Frisco would give them a little bit more punch back than that. Wow, what's your thoughts on that game, man?
The Kansas City Chiefs defense is for real. The San Francisco 49ers now have a lot of injuries that I'm not sure that has cut into the depth. And this is going to be a coaching situation, and I don't think that Shanahan can handle it. So we'll see how good of a coach he is when they play this next team in the Dallas Cowboys. If the Cowboys beat them, I would tell people what I've been telling them for years. Shanahan it's just, you know.
Yeah, I tell you, they you're right about Kansas City defense, man. I mean, you know, they're top 5, and
Right.
I just never thought they would be that good. But a lot of those guys, Kaloakis, the linebacker there, you know, that Duffy at corner, they of course Chris Jones is still playing at a really high level, 31, 32 years old. That's their tackle. And it's just, man, they play really well. And if it wasn't for that level of play and that level of coaching, this team would have 2 or 3 losses this year. They probably would have lost to Frisco in they might have even got to the Super Bowl. I think maybe Lamar Jackson might have beat them in the playoffs last year, you know? So it's overlooked because of Mahomes and Reed, that combo. But man, I tell you, I was really impressed with Kareem Hunt being able to just go right back in their system and play the way he did when they got rid of him. You know?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, 77 yards. It's a good game.
And I mentioned to you, like, the offense still has to score more than 27 points to win the games. That's a given.
Yeah, they had 28.
And their defense allows them to get those 3 extra points, whether it be a field goal, whether it be whatever situation they're put in, right? Because, you know, Mahomes, 30 to 20 to 30 yard line, he's game. That's it. You're going to be cooked.
Yeah.
They're not going to, and then they might kick a field goal, but they're not going to kick a 30-yard field goal. They're going to try to get, 10, 15 yarders, so the scheme works in their favor. The defense plays well. They don't have to be great because their offense scores enough points. So the coaching staff knows that. They understand, and the defense knows that. So they can go out there and be a little bit more, flex. They don't have to be so rigid. They don't be like, you're gonna keep me on the field so long because no, because the offense scores points.
And it's hard to get Mahomes off the field. They just got so many ways they can come at you, man. Okay, Pittsburgh, good call there. You picked Pittsburgh. I picked the Jets. I looked good early, and then Rodgers started throwing them interceptions, man. And I tell you what, though, Russell Wilson, I do feel vindicated on that. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he's definitely the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh. What's your thoughts about that, man? Pretty good opening game for Wilson.
Yeah, and I never did not have any confidence in him. On the show they used to say Wilson will get you 4 or 5 wins on his own. He's competent. He's a competent quarterback. The problem was when you trying to scheme up and you making him and you forcing him to do things that Russell Wilson is not good at, right? You're keeping him behind the line where he can't see. You're not letting him roll out. You're not letting him run.
That's true because he's not very tall. No.
Right. So when you do that and you're expecting him to do that, I don't know why you're expecting different results from him. Let him out the pocket. Let him bootleg. Let him free. And even if he's out there, he knows he just needs to run 5 yards and run towards the sideline. Because the thing is now he's not as fast. He knows he's not as fast as he used to be.
Right.
So when you keep him behind the O-line, like the Broncos did, they was handicapping him. So you gotta play your players to the best of their abilities. I can't care less about what you got in the playbook, man. Ain't nobody care about X's and O's, man. Let your players play. Why would you spend so much time, money scouting and signing these guys and you don't let them be free, man? People talk about
system really does fit what he does.
Yeah,
very similar to what he did with Tannehill.
People talk about that wide receiver and like he doesn't put any effort and anything, but he's not
Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens is not. He's not narrow-minded. He ain't gonna. Why would you expect him to throw his body around when he knows that 2 or 3 plays later he's gonna be the guy and he's gonna be able to catch the ball, right? He's not. He's not Tim Brown, right? And he's not. What's his name? Yeah, like he's not Jumbotron. He ain't gonna sacrifice his body. That's a difference. Like his mentality is, I didn't make the catch this down. I'm gonna get the next one, and the next one you better throw it to me because I want a touchdown. You see, that's. But people are calling him lazy. Oh, he didn't run his route. He didn't run this in route. They play. when the ball don't go to him, the play's over, people. What else you want a wide receiver to do if they're not even going to run the ball, right?
Troy Aikman said something about that with the Dallas guys. He said that CD Lamb's not running his routes all the way, calling them lazy because you got to sell the route,
But there's nothing to sell when the ball's out of. Once the ball's out of the quarterback's hand, there's nothing else to sell.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you want to go through the motions, and if the quarterback's even throwing your way, that's even worse, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not trying to stick up for these guys, but I get their mindset. They're growing, and also this is a different type of football. It's a different type of generation, and these guys, they know they only got 4 or 5 years to play football and make their money. So
yeah. Well, they got the win. So as far as the Jets, got a little pass happy there at the.
What do you expect from the Jets? What do you want from the Jets, Robert? You a football fan. What do you want to see the Jets?
Well, I think Rodgers. Somebody made this. It might have been Jason McIntyre. He says it looked like he was trying to make up because Devontae Adams got a lot of targets, and it's like 9 targets. He only caught like 4. He says it looks like that first interception, he's trying to force it to Garrett Wilson to keep him happy. Well, you start doing stuff like that, things are not going to work out in your favor, and you would think a veteran like Rodgers wouldn't do that. They kind of got away from the Breece Hall show. You got to get him he would be about 35% of the offense if I'm running it, Breece Hall. Then everything else would feed off of the defense leaning in on Breece Hall. Well, they were doing that early. Then they got away from it, and those 2 critical turnovers. And then, Pittsburgh, they can maul the receivers, by the way, up there, and the refs never call it. I know Ralph comes on the show, and he's from up there, but I watch a lot of these Pittsburgh games, and they can maul people. They can maul, and man, refs just look the other way, especially the primetime game, where the crowd really gets into it. But I don't know about the Jets, man. They look like a team that don't have an identity, and you know what that happens. And plus, they're not good at stopping the run. They've lost a little bit off that defense. I should not have picked the Jets in that game. Now you don't know what direction they're going to go in, man.
And they got a defensive player coming back. We'll see what happens. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have in the first game. They just finished his contract out. He's been practicing the last 2 days. So, I don't look. What I expect from the Jets is what I've said from the day one. I don't think they're going to win more than 7
they're
games.
They're a mess.
People always
Jets are a team that I don't know when they're going to get their problems solved.
What do you expect from a 40-year-old man who's who's in the top tip shape he can be, but he's still 40 years old? People, I don't think that I don't think
he still likes to get the ball downfield. He don't have the discipline that Roger or that Brady had at that age to check the ball down constantly, no matter who's screaming for the ball. And Pickle's right. They do need to run those routes out, and Rodgers ain't going to say, he'll say something. Rodgers is very passive aggressive. Peyton Manning, he's hollering at people. He's over the top sometimes, Peyton, but guys like Peyton and Troy Aikman, they get guys in line and tell them, hey, look, man, you got to finish this block off because we're trying to set them up to do something else. And Rodgers, he's going to blame everybody, and the owner likes him. I just think they're a mess, man. I don't know when luckily they're playing. I think they're playing the Patriots this weekend. So if they could just play the Patriots 5 times in a row, I think they could get things back on track, play Tennessee again.
I mean, look, you and I we're not in tip-top shape, but we're okay.
Yeah.
And we're okay for what we're doing.
We're not trying to be an NFL star quarterback.
Right. But even if we did, and we got maybe to a point where we can, run around the 5s. Let's just say that. Even if we did, we still not going to be doing it as much or could do it as long as somebody who's 26, 27, 28, not even 30 yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't expect, like, you got a playbook, you want a quarterback to run it. This guy's 40 years old at the tip-top shape of his career. He's got a fast arm. You can say all you want, but in the back of your mind, you still have to understand, did he want to get up this morning and do all those reps and do all the weightlifting and do all that running?
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
You have to be a check down. He's got such a good arm, it's almost playing against him. Because he still thinks he's like he used to be. He can't run away from guys and throw the ball upfield like he used to.
Right.
Remember those great plays you see when he was with the Packers 7-8 years ago?
Yeah.
He can't do that. And
that's almost a decade ago.
To get him in line, you know?
Right. That's almost a decade ago. 10 years is a lot. Maybe if you're an older man dating a young, you know, maybe if you're an older dude dating a young woman, that don't matter. But
this Mary's in him. Yeah.
Yeah, dating young women and playing football are two different things, man. It's not the same. It's not a sport like that, bro. Like, you know, so I'm just saying, man.
You know, Chad, it's a good point. I saw a throw that they highlighted. Somebody highlighted on social media, and it kind of went viral in training camp. And that ball went up and went down like a wind was blowing it down. It was a sunny day. It wasn't nothing going on. And I'm thinking, that's not the Rodgers I know from back in the day. The Rodgers I know from 6-7 years ago could throw the ball in the end zone to Richard Rodgers. Remember that, to win the game against the Lions one time where he out-jumped everybody? He just don't have that arm strength no more. And a lot of it is the way you throw off your front foot because of your athleticism. But Peyton Manning adapted the short passing game. Remember, he won the Super Bowl when he was a freaking stick man. He was 10-man out there with Denver, you know, and they won the Super Bowl. I don't know if you could do that now. He just don't have the discipline to do that for some reason.
I don't know.
Or at least stay with it throughout a whole game.
And you mentioned Tom Brady, and look, people were writing Tom Brady off in New England before he went to Tampa and had a renaissance in Tampa.
And I was not one of those people. I knew they didn't have any good skill players down there, and they were going downhill.
You know, and the last season he played where they were in the playoffs, they were like, well, Tom Brady over the hill, he's over the hill. Like, so Aaron Rodgers is not? Like, you know, like, to me, it's like everybody's always, you know, they
just have different styles, man.
Yeah, but it don't matter
Rodgers
your style,
has to
bro.
adapt his style, and he's not doing it.
It's not your style, bro. It's your age. We just got to say
well,
how
the age is one thing. Yeah, when you're older, you have to adapt your style. You have to be more of a Charlie Checkdown. His ego don't want him to be Charlie Checkdown. But Breece Hall's got to get 12 targets a game, man. Plus, he's got to get 15 to 20 carries.
I was going to say, Breece Hall should be.
Or what's that other guy's name? Brian Allen or whatever?
And once you put him in, after putting him in, you could put in the second running back in, and he can get another
Allen guy, whatever. Yeah. That would be that's the way that the Denver played when Peyton was older. Did you see how many catches Leonard Fournette got one time with Brady?
No,
man, he got like 10. He got 5 catches in one drive, man.
Yeah, I used to have Fournette on my fantasy league.
He's a great fantasy player with Brady.
Yeah, because he was getting an average of 3 catches, and he was getting an average of 60 to 70 yards. Now, he didn't hit 100 plus, but he would get you to 50 or 60 yards, and the 50 or 60 yards would turn into field goals, right?
Yeah,
most of the time. So
Brady, that's what I like about Brady. He never had too big an ego where he felt like that he had to get more than what the defense was showing him. I think that's all of our NFL games. Man, let's talk some good stuff here. Okay, Tennessee, Alabama, great defense. Tennessee holds Alabama to 17 at home, man. That was impressive. What's your thoughts about this Tennessee defense, man?
They need to stay up. They need to stay energized. They need to not worry about the games that they won in the past. They just need to get ready for the next game and play them out. You know, it was good to see Hupel not hold them back. That's the thing. Hupel wasn't playing for inches and yards. Hupel was like, let's try to win this game. And that's
you're talking about I ask you about the defense. What do you think about that D, man?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
The best defense you've seen in a while? I think it's maybe going back to the night. I was talking about that with Kevin last night.
Oof, that's close. It's getting there. What I liked about it is the depth, right?
It's a lot of depth that they've never had that kind of depth.
Yeah,
not in
and
years, you know.
yeah, and these young kids, they play like they're older. Like they play like the 4 and 5, like you want them to play, and that's important. And I like it. It was a good matchup, man. That was a good game.
Yeah,
I think it's good too when Tennessee wins, right? Because you like,
yeah,
know.
dude. And you know something you're right about that stuff you said about Heupel. I did not expect when they took the lead with that touchdown. I should have downloaded that video where the guy full body extension, the receiver for Tennessee, when it looks like they were going to run it to take the. I mean, that was probably the play of the game. And guy full body extension catches it. They review it. Touchdown Tennessee. When it could have been that was probably a straight up Heupel call. Said, listen, man, if you see him cross up there, go ahead and throw it. You've got the green light here. A former coach team, no, that's run up the middle.
Find the biggest butt to get behind and go forward.
Yeah. That just makes me think about. It was a really good win, and we're watching this guy develop in real time, Nico. And going back to the defense, I mean, Alabama, would they score 41 against Georgia? And look how good Jalen Monroe playing like a Heisman player. And man, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and the game winning interception against him. I mean, that is planned. They look like they're so fast. And that Ryan Williams, he didn't have any big highlight catches like he did against Georgia. Right. You know, I mean, they're playing like the freaking 2002 Tampa Bay Bucks out there. That secondary's quick, man.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Monroe, who's to say, even with the 2 interceptions that made a difference, what could he have done? They were stretching, man. They were stretching. They couldn't make adjustments against that defense. Just when they thought they were going to get – they were on too many third down situations where they didn't get enough yardage. And I don't know if they couldn't get the running game going. Like, there was just a lot of stuff that was just kind of taken away from, I guess, what they planned to do against Tennessee. Right? So,
yeah, he really got them Tennessee's defense really had them out of their game plan. You know, they didn't even use the tight end that much. I think they were really shocked by the difference in the defense, the way they played last year versus this year. I mean, that's daylight and dark. Remember, I think they scored 28 unanswered, something like that in the second half last year. This year, not so much. Tennessee was down 7-0, you know?
Right.
They give up 10 points in the second half to that offense and then score, 24. That's really impressive, man. I didn't see that game playing out. We both picked Tennessee to win, but, really good stuff. Now, Georgia's defense, yes, they play good. I like to show everybody this play here. I showed it to Jason on Wednesday, I think, and I showed it to Kevin last night. Quinn Ewers looking a little bit like Kirk Cousins. Once you get him down and rattle him a little bit, he seemed like he's rattled the rest of the night. Was this play really the game changer? Watch this.
And he smacked. Ewers has pounded. The ball comes out. Still rolling around. Still up for grabs. And it looks like Georgia has recovered. The night. And he smacked. Ewers has pounded. The ball comes out. Still rolling around. Still up for grabs. And it looks like Georgia.
He still got cobwebs, man. I started to send you something. I was 45 minutes behind watching the game. I started to say, something? I should have listened to my first instinct and said, Georgia's going to go up there and win that game. Texas is feeling themselves. All them stars there. And plus, Quinn Ewers barely gets his jersey dirty with that good offensive line. Man, what are your thoughts about that? Was that really the game changer, man?
I don't think that was a game changer, man. Georgia came in there from the get.
Pickle says dazed and confused.
From the get, Georgia came into the game. And what makes me upset about that is the fact that they didn't do the same thing to Alabama, and they should have and they could have. And the fact that when Alabama beat them, they were like, we don't know if we're going to be a good team, all that stuff. look, nonsense.
You know Monroe's quick as a cat, though. Monroe could have got out of that.
I don't know about all that.
Ewers is too comfortable back there because that line's so good. He assumed, if you break down the word assume, ASSUM, he assumed they was going to hold up that Georgia pass rush. And I think was that a safety blitz or something? You got to pick up on all that, man. He wasn't right after that. You saw Sarkisian had pulled him out and put in Arch Manning, which I think he should have kept him in, but that means no never.
Look, that wasn't just one hit. He got hit the whole quarter, bro. So he was just taking a beating back there. I don't think he could get his mindset. He couldn't concentrate. Shorts were a lot of throws were short, some were over. Like he couldn't get.
He was seeing ghost after that hit, wasn't he?
He couldn't get positive yards, even if the defense would have gave. It was just, and the defense wasn't given. So I'm not even say that they weren't doing. Defense was on fire, man. On the line, and then like even they were ready to pounce and intercept this kid. They were on him. Yeah. So, look, I said
do they bounce back against Vanderbilt, or are they still kind of slow walking it?
No, they'll bounce. Vanderbilt, as much as they're a good team, they don't have depth. They're not a team.
Yeah, you think it'll probably catch up with Vanderbilt today or tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think that.
Good to see it, man.
I don't think that Vandy will have an opportunity to just be confident and go out there and beat Texas like that.
It's an 18, and this won't count against us in our picks, but it's an 18-point spread. I think Vanderbilt will give them a game, but I do think Texas lean on your running game. You got a good line there. Your defense is good.
Vandy. We're talking about Vandy now.
It's probably within that spread, though, don't you think? 18.5. It's here in Nashville.
It should be 21, to be honest with you. But
you think they'll cover it?
I wouldn't bet on this game. I'll tell you that.
I wouldn't touch it, man.
That's one of the moves
Vanderbilt, they beat Alabama like that. You never know.
All I'm saying is that when we talked last weekend, I asked you, do you think Texas is ready to say they're the team to be the top in the SEC? I said that.
All the metrics said it, and that was a welcome to SEC moment, and they didn't pass it.
And I told you, I was like, and I was thinking about it, like as much as they have
I should have picked Georgia. You're right, and
you were thinking about it when I asked.
They had 3 and 4 star guys. They just came into their own, man. They had a lot of young players that did not start before, that you knew they can play for Georgia, and they felt disrespect. 49 weeks they were favored, and that 1 week they wasn't favored, and everybody on game day, including Nick Saban, picked Texas. I picked Texas, although I reluctantly picked Texas. I told you before that, I said my reluctance is Michigan's not that good, and we know Oklahoma is not that good. That coach for Oklahoma is he's not a head coach material. He's a good coordinator. And I talked myself out of it because I'm looking at all the metrics and everything. And I was looking, Georgia's not really playing great since the Clemson game coming in. And they just felt disrespected. And Pickle says, I do. Yeah. I tell you what, it's hard to keep a hand on that. I forgot that guy's name, Palva, the quarterback from Vanderbilt. He's hard to get off the field, man. That guy can scoot and run for a first down when you think you got him locked in. So,
but Texas is fast.
I'm actually recording that game. I think Georgia or Vanderbilt probably will give them a game at least for half.
Yeah, last year I said the same thing about Indiana playing Ohio State. I was like,
Indiana's undefeated this year. Man, we better get to these games, man. I didn't realize that we got about 10 minutes here. I want to get on this World Series. Okay, rapid fire here, Captain. Let me get back to these games. Let's see. Okay, let's go with Atlanta, Tampa. What's your thoughts, man? NFL.
That'll be the game of the week. I think you're going to see Tampa.
Oh, really? Wow, okay.
Tampa's going to shake off that loss that they had, and they're going to come back and try because they lost at home. So that's kind of you don't want that to happen. And they're going to shake that off and be like Taylor Swift and get a win, bro.
What's your score there?
That's going to be a close game. That might even go to overtime. I say 27-21.
27-21. You like Tampa. I like Atlanta. Tampa lost both receivers this week. Godwin's going to be out for the season. Mike Evans is going to be out to like week 11.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta got beat too, though. They got beat by Seattle, those mother effers, because I had Atlanta in a parlay, and they bleeped me. I like Atlanta going on the road 24-19. I like the Atlanta Falcons. I wonder if Pickles is picking. Did you anything, Pickles? What's Tim says? Tim says Texas is going to blow them out, I believe. That's going to play for number one. Alabama has lost its structure.
Alabama lost its coach.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins going 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, Tim says.
Ooh.
They do have some injuries on their defensive side as well. I don't know about that. Cousins have pretty good game. I like Atlanta too. Pickles likes Atlanta. A lot of people don't think that
I like defense.
To bounce back with two big time receivers out.
Yeah, I like defense. Defense matters. Defense will give them
You like Bowles in that defense to keep it real.
Yeah.
No, I can respect that because they have played well. Okay.
And I know when they get close to that 40, 30 yarder, they're going to kick a field goal. They're going to take the points. They're not going to try to put it in the end zone because they don't have nobody to put in the end zone.
Match fight. This will be a good game. It'll be a grudge match. Bills at Seattle. Listen, folks. Bills offensive line playing really well. Josh Allen, no interceptions the last 9 games. Man, they brought in Amari Cooper last week. 6 catches, a touchdown against Tennessee. Ed Oliver's back. Bills run defense playing a lot better. Man, they are so much better when he's back in there. I like Bills to go across the country and beat that Seattle team 27-20 for a big road win going against that's that guy, Geno Smith. He's not the biggest clutch quarterback in the world. What do you think, man? Big cross country, conference cross country game there. Bills, Seattle.
I got as much faith in the Bills as I do in those what are those rocks called? The minerals that give you the. Anyways, I don't trust the Bills, man. They got to fly to the 12-man stadium.
Seattle's healthy. I can see that they're healthy.
Seattle's gonna keep a win there at the home stand, and they're gonna. I like the score you got, but I'm gonna flip it. That's gonna be the Seattle score.
Okay. Chad says fools go maybe.
Yeah, fools go. No, is that
the Pickles picking with you? He pitched this Seattle 30-27. That'd be a pretty high scoring game there, Pickles. I don't know, maybe. This one really. I was having a headache doing this next game. Trying to break this game down. I went first. You go first. What's your thoughts about Philadelphia, Cincinnati, 2 teams trying to get their footing back?
2 teams struggling. 2 teams probably play at each other's level.
True.
They're going to probably be a 16-14 game, something just ridiculous. Don't watch this match, man. Even if Joe Burrow breaks out of a funk, it's still not going to be worth watching this game. This game is going to be terrible, man. Terrible. 16-14.
What's the score there, Barkley?
Eagles win.
16-14?
Yeah, man.
Okay. You make a good point. The Eagles played great last week, but, man, the Giants are really banged up. I don't know. I couldn't put a lot of faith in that. Eagles left tackles out, but he was out last week. They played pretty good. They have a guard out, too. It's not Lane Johnson. Okay. But here's the problem with Cincinnati. 21st against the run, 21st against the pass. A.J. Brown's got a really good matchup. Saquon Barkley should have plenty of room to run. I also like the fact that they're running Jalen Hurts. He had a couple touchdowns last week as well. This is a lower scoring game. You're right. It looks sexy because of the big quarterback names and everything. but the way that the injuries and everything in the interior there, it feels like the Eagles are going to run. They're going to lean on their running game. 2016 Eagles win. Hope I'm wrong. Hope that Cincinnati wins because I picked Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, but that foolish owner's holding me back here. And I'm going to go with your pick as well. 2016 Eagles, and I'm probably going to be kind of annoyed watching this game. Pickles says maybe Bengals pull this thing off. I hope Pickles is right, 33-23, and Burrow lights these guys up.
I just think Saquon might get another 100 yards, but it still won't. It'll amass to a win, but it won't. It'll be like one touchdown and 100 yards, but they're still not gonna. They're still gonna be boring.
Chicago, Washington, the number one quarterback versus the number 2 quarterback in the NFL draft. Both rookies. Love the way Jalen Daniels has played, but didn't I tell you my only concern about Jalen Daniels is injury. They played great as a team last Sunday. He's got this ab injury or something. He's been out all week in practice. He's a game-time decision. He's got a rib injury, very limited this week. Plus, this guy, Brandon Coleman, their left tackle's out for Washington. So Marcus Mariota played well last week in the little bit of time that he played with Washington. But they're playing a team off a bye week. This Bears team, very good defense. Love all these skill players for the Bears. DeAndre Swift should have a pretty good game there at running back. Plus, I could see DJ Moore having a good matchup as well. I like the Bears to get the win. Daniel's not 100%. 23-20. I like the Bears go on the road to get a win against this really good, shockingly good Washington team. What's your thoughts?
Super Mariota, 27-24. I'm not big on the quarterback yet. On Williams,
you like Washington?
I like Washington to get this. They're on a confidence booster. They're going to play and wait for their quarterback to come back. They got the team, even though the quarterback's not there.
Well, you may be right. You may be right.
So I don't trust Williams getting more than 20 points.
Okay.
They struggle scoring there in Chicago, and definitely the defense that Washington has, they're not going to let them get any more than 10 points.
Okay. So. I like the fresher team. I like the talent on Chicago. Don't like the head coach as much. But you're right. Washington is pretty talented, man. And they are playing good football. I just don't know if Mariota can play that well. This Bears defense is for real. And that left tackle being out, that's what concerned me. That's why I picked the Bears to get the win. I love me some Montez Sweat off the edge. Okay. And I don't know why I said last but not least, but actually we still got 2 games to go. Dallas, San Francisco, both got some injuries. Dallas got humiliated 2 weeks ago against Detroit. They're off a bye week. San Francisco got humiliated against Kansas City. Brandon Ayuk's now out for the season. Juwan Jennings is out. Kittle's had pneumonia or something, or Samuel's got pneumonia. Kittle's banged up, but I got a feeling both of those guys are going to play. And the problem is with Dallas, no DeRon Bland, and of course the big one is no Parsons, Michael Parsons. So that's their best pass rusher. This is at San Francisco. I think Frisco bounces back. This ain't going to be a pretty game either. 20-17. I got Frisco winning at home. What do you think, man? Dallas, Frisco?
24-21, Cowboys come out with a field goal to win it.
Cowboys get the win?
On a field goal kick.
Yeah, you sure saying it. Okay, you take the Cowboys. I take the 49ers.
I feel like they.
It says Mariota. They're out from the other game. Oh, man. So I'm okay, so where we differ at, you picked Washington, you picked the Seattle, and you picked Dallas. So you picked Tampa, I picked Atlanta. You could be up by 4, or I could get back in this thing. We're dead even right now. Okay, college folks. LSU, Texas A&M. You go first since I went first last time.
That's going to be probably one of the biggest games in the SEC this week. I didn't see
Even
what
Tim, I thought you liked the 49ers. Okay, he's keeping
got
it
the
real.
same. Did we not have the same score almost?
Y'all
Tim?
picking against me, man.
So yeah, Texas, we talk about them all the time and how deep they are, and they might upset LSU. To be honest with you, this might be an upset. So
yeah, I like that quarterback from A&M. He's been playing better since that other lower classman came in there as a backup and played well. I think his name is Connor Wigman from Texas A&M. LSU's been playing good football lately, but they had to go. This is their second road game. And like you said, A&M, it's hard to play down. That was a good win for Notre Dame early in the season. I got 31-20. A&M gets a big win at home over LSU. And you're picking A&M too?
Yeah, I'm picking A&M.
Yeah. It's tough, man. In college, when it's real close, just pick the home team,
Pick the home team.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Let's see. I don't know if these guys wanted to see Tim and Pickles, man. You guys, I may be way off this week. I don't know. Pickles says A&M 34-27. That's a night game too. That's gonna be a good one. Can't wait to see that game. Looking forward to Vanderbilt. Tennessee's off again this week, which I like. I know Kevin don't like it, but I want them to be rested. They got to play Kentucky next week, and they got a few weeks to go. They're going to play Georgia. So
I don't even want to know about that game. That might be an upset special. Right
yeah, I'm not really confident in that, but we'll see.
I just don't like when they take a break and then they play.
I want to just celebrate this victory from beating Alabama. Thank you, Carlos. Hey, guys, enjoy the World Series here. I'm about to get on there and watch it myself, man. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, Showtime in Dodgerland, man. I think
Showtime in La La Land, right?
Oh my God!
Thank you, everybody. We've got a big audience tonight, so cool beans, and see what Pickles is saying there. Oh yeah, Chad's with the thumbs up. All right, guys, have a good weekend.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.